I can definitely understand if nobody wants to make this thing. So I finally got it working. And this is kind of like what I just quickly slapped together. I'm not even. I was just going by the photograph that I got for this. I was kind of making something similar to that. Is what I was thinking. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just give you texture that I made this decal with, and I'll give you the object that you can just import in from your asset browser after you make the two textures. Which the textures for this, for the decal, I mean, I guess it don't matter what you name the texture, but um, you'll be able to tell what the which textures for the decal and which ones for the model. I mean, as far as the model's got the other stuff on it. The model's texture's got all that on it. The texture that's just the road is just a road by itself. And I got this texture named. Damn, did I put a capital C? That's unusual for me. I usually don't do that. Let me double check that. Let me double check. Show in asset browser. Which didn't bring up my asset browser. Show in shape editor. Material. No, it's not. I don't know what the hell that is. The texture's supposed to be lowercase. Cracked road 15. Just make that texture before you import in the model. And I don't have anything special set. It's just a color map, receive shadows, anastrophic filtering. You can make other stuff to go with it, specular and all that if you want to. So that's just that. I did make a long video on how I made this crack bridge, so I will post it. Just I can't edit it because Blender sucks for rewriting a file, and it's a long file. So I'll just tell you, just ignore the end because the end I was trying to troubleshoot what was going on. Which ultimately, what I did is basically, let me save it first. Uh, what I did is I somehow when I made it, I think when I was scaling the whole object, right? When I was scaling, damn it, let me get out of this mode. When I was scaling the object to create the little pieces, like the flat piece of road, somehow I went into the negative. So I was in the underverse, I guess. I don't know what you call it. I was on the opposite side of existence. And I think that was what it was because when I came back to fix this, I did this and I messed with the normals too. I don't really understand exactly. That's the only thing I can think happened is why it was not drawing the object. But I thought it had something to do with the fact I moved the 3D cursor, but that wasn't it either. Um, that's the only thing I can think. Somehow the normals got all screwed up. And I knew what happened once I got into the game and I told the texture to be, I had told it to be double sided and I could see the invisible, it basically was like flipped inside out. So I can understand nobody wanting to follow suit and make something like this, but it's also kind of cool to make. It was a pain in the ass to make. I ain't gonna lie. Um, but I'm just gonna give you this model and the texture, like I said, for the decal. Now the way I did the decal, and you'll need to do this too, is when you put your decal, you'll note when you get up to the object, you got two things you can adjust. You got the texture length, which will help you kind of get the texture to somewhat, uh, the little dots to kind of look consistent with how the models are as far as how far apart they are. I mean, the white lines. And then you also, when you got your entire decal, and in Decal Road Editor, when you got it selected, well, shit, let me just do this. Let me just do it again. That'd be the easy thing to do. You just go into your decal here, hold Alt, and you'll get a node. Hold down while holding Alt, left click, and drag. Drag however far you want the decal to be, and left click, and that'll create it. And then in the inspector window, if it's not open already, it's up here in the window inspector. This is where you'll pick the texture that you create, which what I just called it A HD road or something. A underscore. Oh, why this thing makes me wait when it's one of these. Yeah, I think that's it. I made a few of them, but uh, what you'll do once you create it, you'll just what you do, you get the white lines lined up. That don't look like the right one. That looks like that's it. That's the right one. You get the white lines lined up. It's easy if you do this from a top view. You get it lined up so that it's going the same direction as your model. It's actually easier to do with a shorter piece. You get in closer. But you line it up, and if your little lines don't line up, like meaning it's too wide, you just hit Control A. That'll select That'll select both of the nodes, and then in your inspector, you got node width here. You just adjust the node width until you get to the size of the model. It's that easy. And you just have to kind of just adjust it. Now see how the white lines look like they're far apart? Well, that's where the texture length comes in. That's where you slide that out till you get something somewhat close. And you can always add to this. Just remember that when you have one side affects the other. See, the easiest way to do it is to go ahead and make a shorter piece. So if you want to, well, not necessarily a shorter piece, but make a second piece and then do your turn. That way the turn won't affect the straightness of this one. You see what I mean? So that's what I would do there. And of course the same thing on the other side. But I thought this would be something cool to make. I'd seen like some big holes and some other levels people made. It's like, man, I'll make something like that, like an earthquake kind of damaged road. Now, it'd be cooler if I had a model of the ground that was also like earthquake damage. That something you can do better than what you can do with the actual terrain editor. But uh, be sure to hit rebuild collision in your thing there once you put your model where you want it, or you'll drive through it, or wait till you reload the game and it'll do it for you. But I'm not sure what that. That would just be a bad a bad repair bill if you like ran into something like that. Yeah, the manual transmission. Yeah, that would be bad. I've seen a lot worse. Now I tell you, when you watch me making this video, no, it was the other video I didn't post. Never mind. There's another video where there was a 1 in a billion thing that happened where I'll try to post it. It was an incredible wreck that you couldn't do in another billion years if you tried. So, but anyway, I'll post this thing on OneDrive and put a link to it. Let me move the model so you can see what the model actually looks like. It's just a road. I even textured the bottom of it. And I textured in between every one of these little pieces. Got a lot of little UV mapping to do. But you just basically, well, let me show you. Easy way to do it. You got this feature. You got this feature here in your terrain tools. Now what I would do, I would put it, I'd put one piece on the ground, uh, the one that the road will connect to, for example. Then go to terrain tools and right here, align with mesh, line up with mesh. It'll pull the ground up to the model like that. That'll get you a good start anyway. And then you can erase little pieces of the ground. Which I got my pressure too high. You can erase little pieces like this, not or reduce them rather, and then fix this side texturing issue. I just kind of just doing this so it doesn't if yours stretches it out the texture too much, just like that. Probably stick that down in the wrong way, down like that. And it kind of creates this void down there. You can and once again, like, align up to mesh and get you a smaller brush, and it'll pull the ground up to those pieces. And get you some like nice like texture for the ground, like whatever dirt, mud, whatever would be underneath all that mess. And have your regular, oh, that's the ugly grass. My grass is missing. My blades of grass are missing. Oh, I don't know. I gotta fix that. And put you some grass on one side, or some gravel, or whatever you want to put. And then, depending on how you want your road and stuff, what I did, I brought the ground up to a certain point here, right about there, and I said flatten set height terrain height picker, and I picked that elevation. Then I switched to a square brush and made the brush a little larger, and then that gave me like the perfect little strip for my decal. Oh yeah, you don't want your grass coming through your decal there. And then I set decal. And this texture I made for it, stick it on there. Now my texture for this one, it has a uh, down here alpha clip. It's in the advanced tab. See, that's what it's going to look like when you first make it. To get the extra bit, you'll turn on alpha clip and adjust the alpha clip so that you can do that, or you can turn on lens alpha if you want like a feathered edge, and then you can adjust the alpha. No, you don't want to adjust. You don't leave that at 255. Thinking of something else. You know, you got that option too if you want to use a feathered look where it's somewhat fades out, but I don't. I just use the alpha clip. That's fine for me. And once you get it lined up, which I think since I've already lined this up, it's already the right size, but once again, if it's not, you can just hit Control A to select all the white nodes and just use this node width here and just adjust it just like that until you get it right. And then of course the texture length, you just adjust that so that, you know, now sometimes that'll happen. You can get it the right size and just, you know, as you move this thing shorter or longer, you see it moves the white lines, you can kind of position them where you want. And it's just a little bit below that, so you can just you can raise your terrain just a little bit, which that's too much. That's where this pressure comes in handy. You just a hair. But yeah, that's how I did that over there. Basically, just textured it, brought the ground up so these little pieces didn't look like they were floating, and then on the other side, I mean, you don't have to do like I did. You could do it a little different. Have it, you know, where it's a little different. And paint that side like dirt. You want your pressure up for that. You know, whatever. You know, that works too. Get you a running start. Just remember, just you edit, rebuild your collision, and that way it'll lock that or solidify that collision map. Oh yeah, that's right, I moved the road. I was like, where's my road? Alright, so yeah, so I think that's it. I'll post a video after this how I made it, which I am talking in that one.